Hey everybody, how's it going? Not sure why the camera's dork. Sorry. Zach's on track. He's in the Protocharge SimSport Honda. Mr. Zach Patterson's got a nice little stream going. You guys should go check out Zabzy on Twitch TV. Also, he's going to be doing a watch through on YouTube of the IMSA race at Sebring. Should be a lot of fun because he was on the pit wall with the 99 Honda that went from last to first in the Michelin Pilot 2 Hours of Sebring. Wow, that camera is like really... Is that camera too close? I think that camera's too close. I'll be right back. I think that's a little bit better. How are we doing, everyone? Welcome aboard to round number 7. Only 2 rounds left in the season. We're watching the 949 GT Sprint Series. Got a sprint race at Bathurst. Should be a good one. Actually, look at something. So Zach's still on track. Is autopilot just not doing anything anymore? Like, it just doesn't? Kevin Blanchett in the Sky High Beaver Motorsports entry. Currently 3rd in Division 2 standings with 133 points. 7 points back from Peter Greaves. Probably a little too far to catch up to Mike, but could still take a shot at Peter for second step on the podium. Luciano Yad's actually not out of it either. He's only 18 points back from Peter, so we've got a tight battle, P2, P3, P4 in Division 2. Let me know if sound levels are coming across okay. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me and that everything is working as expected. Hopefully you can hear game audio. Turn the music down. But yeah, we are at Bathurst, and the conditions are going to be wet for this race. This is the track that the drivers voted for round 7. The format of Season 8 is dealer's choice, and they got 3 tracks to pick from, and they chose Bathurst for the wet 1 hour sprint, so... Game audio's low. But thank you all so much for joining us on a Thursday. Yeah, I just don't know what autopilot's doing. It's like it's not working at all. It's not changing cameras. It's not doing anything on this PC. Don't really know or understand what's going on with it. It's just not. Oh, there it goes. Switch to Patty McNichol in the SGR Chum Motorsports Porsche entry. He's running the Porsche for Bathurst. A brave man right there. Behind Joseph Kostovich in the 949 Sim Racing McLaren. Paula Brady, the Donk for Hire, in the Lead Paw Racing Audi R8 GT3. Paula is currently sitting 4th in the Division 3 championship. Only, 5 points back from Cole Grace from Adept. Probably out of the battle for the top spot in Division 3, which is currently 4 points separate Will Bruner from Firelight Esports and Chemosith in the Crazy Rabbits Racing M4. Apollo's actually tied in 4th with Justin Beachley in the Beach GT Aston Martin. Races alongside a bunch of our friends over at Trackalicious. Tanner Rogers with Tritium actually not that far out of the top 5 either. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all winds up. I think this race is going to set the stage for what the battle is going to look like for Division 3, Division 4, with it being as close as it is. Division 1, Division 2, if the current division leaders have good results, they'll probably seal the championship in each of their respective divisions mathematically. That said, this is a wet race. Qualifying is going to matter a lot. Division 1 and Division 2 will get to go out second on track. So it's going to be very important. Forcing the pass in Solomon Park, that is a bold move from Josh McKean. But Josh might be thinking he needs to take some risks because he is 30 points adrift of Luke Southall. He's got to nail a qualifying, and right now Luke Southall's on top of the timesheets with 209.380. Both Lexuses at the top of the sheets. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Only 22 in lobby for the wet race right now at Bathurst. Still got 22 minutes in free practice at Mount Panorama. Round 7 of the 949 GT Sprint Series. Luciano Yads, one of our friends from Madhouse Racing. Crazy Canadians. Headed up the cutting. Aston should be a pretty stable ride around here in the wet. So I'm looking for these Astons to do some pretty good work on the mountain. Especially if the wet conditions hold. We'll have to wait and see. That is a spun Honda. Hopefully doesn't get DQ'd. Jose Guzman in the RG Racing Honda. Out on track doing the right thing. Headed up Mountain Straight. Towards Quarry Bend. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us for round 7 tonight. Do want to take a moment to remind you all that we do have the final round of the Winter Endurance Championship with Trackalicious Sim Racing. That is next Saturday, I believe. Not this Saturday, but the one after. Go pop over to the website real quick and pull the dates. Yeah, so the Enduro Championship has one more date left, and that is at Kyalami. Should be a fun one. It's on April 9th. there's the race app. You want to book a slot in the final round of the Solo Winter Endurance Championship. First 3 rounds have been a lot of fun. It's been a good race. So, it's a good format. If you're interested, be sure and check it out. Also, we do have a new league starting up on Tuesdays. And the folks behind it is Box 3 Motorsport, Huff Manic, Red, those guys over at Box 3, putting together the beer Tuesday night beer cup. It's Porsche Cup M2 is the format. I'm actually going to be racing in it, so I'm super excited about that. But there's the information if you're looking for sign up for that. There are a few slots left for the M2. Porsche Cup still got a healthy amount, but M2's filling up pretty quick. So if you're interested in either the Porsche Cup or the M2 Tuesday night racing, I think it's 10 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. Be sure and check it out. So, got Patty McNichol currently 15th on the timesheets, 3.5 seconds back. He's trying to catch up to Jose. He's only got 1.2 tenths between him and Carlos. Southall still on top with that 209.380. So it's Southall, Blanchette, Kostovich, Patterson. Patterson should be pretty strong around here. Honda's pretty strong. I don't know if the new version is as strong around here with the big update that showed up with 1.8.12. Patty's pulling into the box. Probably going to practice some pit stops. Luke Southall, in the meantime, coming down the mountain from Forest Elbow. He's got a bit of a Honda train in front of him with Jose, Zach Patterson. About to go into the chase. Let's take a peek at that. Oh no, Jose goes off. Unfortunate. Zach dives into... Oh, both of them dive into the pits. I don't know what happened there. Not sure. Teammates just bonking each other. 17 minutes left in free practice. It's 11:18 a.m. on track. Still got wet conditions going. Driver's briefing is up and running. Small field tonight, 22 drivers, round 7. So with the drivers, actually with the drivers going in the briefing, let's go ahead and switch it up. Let's hop on over to the website real quick. And we do have the pit wall live timing turned on, by the way. So if you're interested in following live timing data, it's free to use. Exclamation point pit wall. Check out pitwall.live. If you want to sign up for a free account, you get a little bit more than just the normal timing screen. That's what I use for all of my live timing needs. Actually going to pull it up right now because I kind of want to get the timesheet cranked out. Give me a second. Let's go ahead and pop on over. Looks like there's a pit wall version update for the web application part, so we'll go ahead and get switched over there for that. That is a very strange interface. Don't know how I feel about that. But let's go ahead. Got a car out on track. That's JQ turning laps. Does JQ not realize that a driver's briefing has started? send him a note real quick. You might have chat turned off. Hey, Dad, how are you doing? JQ's out on track. Go ahead and mute that. Switch over to the browser. Oof. What is this window doing? That's fun. Set that. There we go. So let's actually pop on over to the team standings real quick. Looks like drivers are back out on track. Briefing must be over. So yeah, here we go. Driver's briefing. Driver's briefing's over, but let's talk about division standings real quick with the few minutes left in free practice that we've got. Like I said, here's the standings right now between Division 1, Division 2, 3, and 4. Luke Southall, like I said, 30 points on Josh McKean. Both him and Josh, if they generate good results, respectively, it's probably locked the standings for those two mathematically. Meanwhile, Gonzo, with 123 points in third, has an 11-point advantage on Coasty. But Coasty, Zach Patterson, and Pete Hutchings not out of being able to sneak their way into the top three should things not work out for Nick in this race. So it's going to be interesting to watch how the standings finish. And also, depending on how qualifying goes, if something were to go wrong for Luke Southall or Josh McKean in a big way, mathematically it could put P3 and further back in for getting into the top three. So there's still some risk left for Luke Southall and Josh. They're not out of the woods, respectively, in terms of the math yet. Mike Menning, however, with a 28 points advantage on Peter Greaves, again, kind of in the similar boat. Going to want to try and nail a very good bank lap to make sure that he's got a good starting position for the race. And then 28 points between him and Peter Greaves. And Peter's just going to be hoping that things don't work out for Mike. Kevin Blanchett, 7 points back from homeschool. So Kevin's going to be hoping for a good race. And that Lexus is pretty quick around here from what we've seen in free practice. Luciano Yads, mathematically, he's still able of striking Peter Greaves in second place. James Brown kind of out of it, but could possibly sneak into the top three. Just inside the top three. So we'll see how that works out. Division 3, however, is the hottest race we've got going so far. Be sure and say thanks. Thanks for the follow, Mr. Robot X. Voodoo, how are you doing, man? Division 3, 4 points between Will Bruner and Chemo Sith with 2 rounds left. That is going to be some interesting racing action on track. And then third place, Cole Grace with the Adept Porsche. Mathematically, still within reach of Paula Brady, Justin Beachley, and Tanner Rogers. So Division 3 is going to be a very hot division to watch for the last 2 rounds. JQ jumps back into the lead over Jose Guzman, and there's a 7-point advantage between him and Jose. And Tyler Kozlakis is still in the mix as well. So Division 4 also pretty spicy. But yeah, that's the standings so far. We'll get switched back over to free practice. Will Bruner in the Firelight Esports entry, currently Division 3 leader on track, has yet to set a time. We did end up getting some more drivers join in, probably at or after the briefing. Paula Brady, Donk for Hire on Twitch, or excuse me, I think that's the social. Donk for Hire for Paula. Zach Patterson in the Chonda. Currently 4th on the timesheets. Little less than a second back from Luke. They've still got a little bit of time to put in some laps. Mr. Robot X, thank you for joining. You're watching round 7 of the 949 GT Sprint Series. Only 2 more rounds left in Season 8. Hoping to go out with a bang. I think it's going to be tricky for a few of the runners out here on track. Joseph Kostovich actually with the Maka setup in the wet. Currently 0.6 slower than Southall. That's actually pretty impressive around Bathurst in the wet for the Maka. Got 8 more minutes left of free practice. Joseph Kostovich in the 949 Sim Racing McLaren. Headed into the chase. He's going to have a big old hole punched in the air from that Lexus in front. But honestly, I don't really know how much the draft is going to help you on a track like this in the wet. Conditions don't... Track doesn't appear to be flooded. There's Tyler Kozlakis in the Tag Heuer Porsche Racing. Tag Heuer Porsche Racing team currently 145 points. 12 points from catching 949 Blue. It's 21st and 20th in the team standings. In the team standings, Protocharge SimSport Alpha running away with it. 109 points between them and 949 Red, but Protocharge SimSport Pete Squared is only 2 points back from 949 Red. So Protocharge could lock out the top 2 spots if they get a good result in this race. Ravens Reptiles Scrubs Go Racing in 4th place, 54 points back from Protocharge SimSport Pete Squared, but they've got a good, healthy margin on Sky High Beaver. But Sky High Beaver is going to have to work to stay inside the top 5 because Turn 1 NA Pro only 6 points back from Sky High Beaver. I think the fight that I'm focused on the most right now is the Tritium Racing duo of John Ezra, Tanner Rogers, and the Firelight Esports pairing of Will Bruner and Brad Sievers. Only 1 point separating them between P12 and P13. And you can find all that standing information, by the way, on our site. Just head on over to 949.racing. Be sure and check the league section under GT3 Sprint Series. It's got all the information. It's got all the team and division standings. Josh McKean in the Protocharge SimSport Aston Martin. Pretty far off the pace right now in comparison to Luke. 1.167 between them. Kind of curious about the track evolution here. Let's actually take a peek at the pit wall and see if I can spot what the track looks like. Looks like it's getting a little bit wetter out there. That's what my gut tells me. Yeah, a little bit of rain increase followed by a decrease in rain. Tricky conditions. Josh almost loses it. And McPhillamy. Lap 1's going to be very sketchy. Drivers are really going to have their thinking caps on and play it safe. This is a race where you can make up a lot of points to somebody in front of you should they make a mistake if you play it smart. And qualifying around here is going to be so important. As Joey Lynn Palmer would say, when you're on a street circuit, you've always got to be alert. Out of Forest Elbow. Justin Rowley in the RG Racing McLaren. For some reason, his paint's not showing up for me. I don't know what that's all about. The brothers McNichol duking it out. Let's take a look at the standings one more time. Southall still on top with that 209.380. So right before the rain hit, it seemed like that was the time. Kevin Blanchett also little under 6/10 back from Southall. We got a little bit of time. Well, actually, no. We just hit the max weight, so flying laps are going to count, and then we're going to switch over into the quali period to get set up for the race. Ooh, Carlos loses it after he crests the hill at Solomon Park. Hey, Cole Hawks, how are you doing? Let's see you on track, sir. Hope you're doing okay. Shane Rees. It's not easy in the dry, but I feel like there's a lot of tracks that are pretty tricky in the wet. I personally don't feel like Bathurst delivers anything unique in that regard. What's up, Meaty? How are you doing? I mean, the big thing is that, I mean, here's the thing. Like, people could probably run, like mid-pack runners could probably run a slow, conservative setup and make up so much time in the, in just avoiding, avoiding any kind of, like, issues on track. All right, let's get into it. Actually, let me switch over to... I'm going to turn off autopilot. Hop on over to the... Let that do its thing. Let's take a look. Drivers are heading out on track. This is going to be your Division 3, Division 4 runners. Will Bruner, Division 3 leader by 4 points. Hey, Vulcan, how are you doing? Thanks for stopping by, man. 20 minutes, 5 seconds. Check back in with Will as he gets around to start his first flyer. Doing okay. Just hanging out. So for the folks that don't know, if this is your first time watching a 949 GT Sprint Series event, we do have split qualifying for the 1 hour format. Division 3, Division 4 runners are going to get the first 10 minutes out on track. Which, by the way, let's take a quick peek at the weather. A little bit. Could have been contact. Not sure. As soon as I figure out what I'm doing. There we go. Yeah, so it's kind of like a similar deal. So it's going to be... There's going to be an increase of rain in 10 minutes for the Division 1, Division 2 runners, and then a drop in rain that's going to not even matter by the end of qualifying. So it's going to be on the Division 1, Division 2 runners to really, really stick a good solid lap if they want to be ahead of the Division 3, Division 4 runners, because the weather is going to get worse as they head out onto the track. So weather definitely throwing a wrench in a lot of what's going on here. Got Steve K out on track. Let's follow him around for a lap of Mount Panorama, New South Wales, Australia. Also known as Bathurst, home of the 12 Hours of Bathurst and the Bathurst 1000. Bathurst 1000 is an amazing event to watch. If you've never seen one, be sure and check out the V8 Supercars YouTube page. Steve K going through Quarry Bend on the approach now to the cutting. This is an area that is going to be particularly treacherous, especially if people try to go too wide through here, because there's going to be a little bit of water puddled off to the left. Now into Griffin's Bend, through Reed Park, into Solomon. All about balancing the car through the fast left-hander into McPhillamy. Nothing but kitty litter on the right and the wall to greet you if you make a mistake. Cresting the hill here, Skyline. That curb on the left probably spells death through the S's into the dipper. Oh, had to get out of the throttle just a little bit on exit. Now downhill into Forest Elbow. It's going to be very easy to misjudge your braking and lock it up. Slide into the wall at Forest Elbow. Now we're headed downhill, fastest part of the track now, Conrod Straight. You see him moving left and right on Conrad Straight, looking for the driest part so he doesn't hydroplane. Into the chase. Conservative line, but that might be a difference maker in terms of qualifying positions. Bruner sets a 2:13.8. Steve K comes across the line. 7th fastest, 2.593 off the pace. Carlos Guzman jumps at the top with a 2:13.8. Claudio Voodoo in the Policia Racing Lamborghini. He's going into the cutting right now. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him. Looks like that's Brad Severs. Brad Severs I thought was going to be a scratch tonight, but actually made it on time. Good job, Brad. Brad Severs actually has 7/10. We're going to hang out with him for a bit. One half of the Firelight Esports duo. Running the McLaren at Bathurst in a wet setup is tricky business. Chemosith goes to the top of the timesheets with a 2:12.9. That's what Chemosith wants if he wants to take the fight to Will Bruner. He's going to try and see if he can qualify and definitely get some buffer places in place for the start of this race. It is going to be so tricky at the start. It is critical to nail your qualifying. It is even more critical at the start of the race to eyes forward, fully aware, try to see the incident before it happens, so to speak. It's going to be hard. It's going to be real challenging. 1.1 up on his previous Delta. Bang! Hey, Doggo, how are you doing, man? Into Murray's corner. Comes across the line, jumps 6th fastest, 1.313. You're excited to try out a new car? I am so happy about that, Doggo. I hope the race goes well for you. Aston in the wet around here, I think, is going to be a really good pick for stability purposes. Just make sure you got full awareness turned on at the start of the race. Try and nail as much of your qualifying as possible. Yeah, it's going to be tricky. But yeah, I hope it goes well for you, man. Check in now. Everybody's kind of even on Delta. Somebody who has yet to set a time is this man right here, Mr. Tyler Kozlakis, in the Adept. Or no, excuse me, not the exact. He's in the Tag Heuer Porsche. Oh, you love the track. Okay, cool. You're one of the people who voted for it. I mean, I think it's actually it's an exciting street circuit, and I feel like the wet conditions add a layer of spice to it. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how the race goes. I feel like if everybody approaches lap 1 and lap 2 with a cool head, we could probably avoid a good chunk of incidents and maybe avoid a red flag situation. So we'll have to wait and see. JQ's playing conservative. Probably not a bad idea around here. Nail a banker. Maybe try and gain some improvements, but then, you know, don't go full yeet. Although JQ's actually at the bottom of the order right now in Division 3, Division 4. Jose has got some pretty solid pace on him right now. I think JQ's just trying to work this Lexus setup around the track. Waiting to see if Tyler Kozlakis can punch in and get a time on the board. Will Bruner's got about a 10th in the bank as he goes into towards the end of Sector 1. Tyler comes across the line, punches in 10th fastest, just ahead of Justin Rowley. Part of the RG Racing duo. "40 seconds left to nail the qualifying." Let me look at Patty's time. Patty is currently off on his Delta, but doesn't have enough time really to really get out on track, or get. He might not be able to get around the track to start another lap. We're gonna have to wait and see. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close for Patty. Let's actually follow on board with him while he does that. "30 people tuned in. Thank you all so much for joining us. You're watching round 7 of the 949 GT Sprint Series. Look at the Division 1 and Division 2 runners out on track. This is going to be chaos. I can already tell. Will Bruner comes across the line. 5th is as best as he can do. Patty. Oh, man, that's gutting for Patty. Right now, I think we have 26 in the lobby. 27. 27 in the lobby, John. Oh, man, that is gutting for Patty. Let's jump on board with Kevin Blanchette. Kevin Blanchette's in the front of this train right now. So the rain conditions increased in the first 10 minutes, so it's going to be very important to nail the first lap of your qualifying, your first flyer. It is going to be so important. Because if the conditions deteriorate over the next 8 minutes, it's just going to be so hard to claw that time back. And, I mean, it would take a miracle. Let's be real. So Kevin in front of Luke. Luke probably would very much like to get in front. Kevin would very much probably like to stay in front. No, Kevin's going to let him go. Kevin's probably doing the smart play. He's like, this is a Division 1 runner. But I don't think Kevin's going to let Paremba through because the car behind him is Homeschool Racer, and they're pretty close in Division 2 right now in terms of the points. So Kevin's probably going to say, you know, sorry, Paremba, but staying put. Now, to Kevin's credit, he was the second fastest in free practice in the Lexus setup, so we're going to see how that works out. In the meantime, Mr. Luke Southall is going to take a ride around Bathurst. Let's ride on board with him. The two-time, currently Division 1 points leader, 30 points between him and Josh McKean going into Hell Corner now. Touches a little bit of that curb. Seems like he got a solid exit. He starts to head up Mountain Straight.
What are you smiling about?
Dude, I almost had you.
Through Corey.
You almost had me. You never had me. You never had your car.
Yeah. Those slides, Every single lap. Dude, man, that looked rough. That looked hard. The conditions just seem so much different for you in comparison to free practice. Free practice, the car looked really planted. I don't know if there was a little bit of a touch right there at Solomon Park for Luke Southall, but he's going into McPhillamy now. Oh. He looks like he is like right on the edge of what the car will support. Yeah, I saw that, man. No doubt, Turner. How are you doing tonight? Yeah, just stay out of the danger zone, man. Watching Luke Southall finish this first flyer out. Let's see where he slots in terms of the time. Deco and Yoke, thanks so much for the follow. Oh man, fourth fastest for Southall, 6/10 back, but Josh McKean taking provisional pole with 2:12. Did Luke back out of it after the start-finish straight? If so, that will straight ruin his lap. Josh McKean on top right now. Luke Southall currently looking to extend. Pete Hutchings has got a 10th as he goes up Mountain Straight. So does Matt Paremba. He's in the Belgian Audi WRT car 46. He's running the doctor's colors for this race. Mr. Matt Paremba. A 2:12. 2:12 is not your dry lap time, Turner. You're not fooling anyone. You're not fooling anybody. You want to talk about somebody who's not fooling around. That's this guy right here. Josh McKean's got 4/10 as he goes through McPhillamy Park right now. JQ, man, don't sweat it, dude. I would say maybe just check with Coasty and see if there's anything in particular. I think with the blue flags and stuff like that, it's going to be pretty tricky. So keep your eyes peeled, man. Just be smart. Play it smart. Play it safe. If it were me and I were in Division 4 in the championship lead of Division 4 like you are, I'd throw wets and the most conservative setup I could throw on the car and try and get lucky with the traffic. Josh McKean's got another 3/10. Luke Southall, though, is blistering 2. He's got 6/10. Zach Patterson goes second fastest with a 2:12.6. Luke Southall going in the chase right now. Currently the fastest man out on track. If he can convert this. Oh, nope. He might have just lost it. He was just a hair ahead of Josh's time going through Sector 2. That is correct. Goes third fastest. Just couldn't hold it into the third sector. Joseph Kostovich has got a second and a half in the bank. This could upset the apple cart at the front. Goes second fastest with a 2:12.310, 3/10 off the pace from Josh McKean. That is a fantastic qualifier for Joseph Kostovich. Pete Hutchings got 2/10 as he heads up Mountain Straight right now in the Protocharge SimSport Aston Martin. Mr. Pete Hutchings has been racing with 949 since the very beginning. It's just so weird seeing Hutch not in a Honda in the Aston. Just so weird. Not gonna lie. Looking at the front runners right now, everybody's kind of even on Delta. Dan Tazzaro's got 3/10 as he goes. Where is he at right now? Oh, he's going into Corey. I mean, it's not. It's just not. It's just that car is so not Hutch's style. He can't seesaw it. You know. Looking at deltas, Southall's got 5/10. Blanchett's got 3. Southall's going in the chase right now, so if he can convert this 5/10, he might be able to pass Coasty and get into second and make it a front row fight. Oh, he lost it all in a chase. He's gonna be lucky if he carries a nickel across the line. Nope, he goes third fastest. Slots in between Kostovich and Patterson. He's going into the pits. I think he might be done. Yeah, Tez into the wall. That is a big oof. Nick Gonzalez, though, Gonzo, has got a half second. Could jump into the top 7. Chemosith currently out of place in a big way. Dan even into the wall still has positive delta somehow. If he can convert this 6/10, he might jump into P18. P19 for Tez. Dan the man. Ooh, Patterson. He's looking good to convert. Might be able to get down to maybe that 2-minute 12.1, 2-minute 12.2. Jump into second here. This is a track that favors the car that Zach has picked. So from a strategy perspective, if Zach's got his thinking cap on, this could be a really good race for him if he can convert this. He's now heading down Conrad Straight right now with 2/10 in his pocket. And it could be dividends if he could just cash it in for something valuable. Meanwhile, the fight for Division 2 could get spicy. Kevin Blanchett's in 5th right now, 6/10 off the pace. Peter Greaves, 17th, 1.8 seconds back. Kevin's off at Forest Elbow. Max wait time flying laps do count. Slots in second fastest, 1.9 off the pace, a 2-minute 12.172. Mr. Zach Patterson in the 192. Looks like he is going to slot in alongside Josh McKean unless Kostovich, well, actually everybody that even has a shot is in the pits. And I'm looking at deltas right now, nobody's close enough because we're in max wait time and flying laps count. Mike Menning in the Chum Motorsports Aston Martin might be able to sneak past Chemosith to get into 7th, comes across the line, does not. 1.3 seconds off the pace is what he's going to have to settle for. He's going to line up 8th on the grid. Chris McNichol, however, has got 3/10, headed down into Quarry. Oh, he's already finished his lap. Let's take a look. Who's out on track that hasn't finished? Is it Sam? Oh, Sam. Okay. That should be it. That should be it for the runners out on track. Oh, no, Luciano. Where's Luciano at? Oh, no, he just came across the line. Slots in 18th, right behind Peter Greaves. And that is going to be your starting grid. I'm going to switch over to, let's get over into the browser real quick. Hop on over to Pitwall. Close this down. Let's pull up that qualifying order. Josh McKean on top. Pole position. When he needed it most. He's got to nail that start. He has no other options. He's got to nail the start. He's got to try and get out in front of Zach before turn 1. And then he's got to try and put as much distance between him and Southall as much as possible. And hope as the race progresses, something could. I mean, I don't think he wants something to happen to Luke, but it would be for his championship hopes. It would be in his best interest if Luke did not score a solid haul of points. But we're gonna have to wait and see. Let's go ahead and switch over to the timetable. Take a look at the starting order. Nope, seriously, give me the timetable. There we go. We'll do the rundown real quick for you folks. Pole position, Mr. Josh McKean. Yes, the paint looks very good, Patty, by the way. Josh McKean, pole position for Protocharge Sim Sport in the Aston Martin at Bathurst in the wet. Aston Martin's going to be a very strong pick. Lexus is going to be a pretty strong pick, too. Zach Patterson in the Honda, another strong pick for Bathurst. Joseph Kostic, I'm kind of surprised to see Maka in the wet on the second row of the grid here at Bathurst in the Pro Division. Starting alongside Luke Southall, Protocharge Sim Sport Lexus, currently the Division 1 leader. Kevin Blanchette, currently third in Division 2, starting fifth this race in the 420 for Sky High Beaver. Matt Paremba races for 949. He's in the Belgian Audi and a WRT, running the Dr. Rossi's Audi for this race. Chemo Sith, Division 3 runner, 7th on the grid. 4 Crazy Rabbits in the M4. He's got a buffer between him and Will, but Will, he's going to try and take the fight to him on track, try and get a good, clean start to the race. Got his thinking cap on. I'm interested to see how those two pan out as the race progresses. What else do we have going here? So Chemo Sith, 7th. Mike Menning, Chum Motorsport, in the lead to Division 2. Going to want to convert a very good result today. Good haul of points to try and mathematically seal up Division 2. To try and keep Kevin Blanchette, who's currently in 5th, getting within striking distance. Gonzo, 3rd in Division 1. Depending on how things work out for Southall and McKean, might have a shot at upgrading a spot or two, but is definitely going to want to try and hold 3rd as best he can from Joseph Kostovich and Zach Patterson. Let's take a look. Jose Guzman, Division 4, 10th on the grid in the Honda for RG. Good qualifying result for Guzman. Going to need to keep it clean, keep it safe at the start of the race. Stay out in front of Pete Hutchings with the Protocharge Sim Sport Aston Martin. That's going to be a tough ask for Jose. Pete's been pretty consistent in the Aston Martin. He hates the car, but he's really consistent in it. We're going to have to see how that works out for him. Voodoo, he's in the Policia Lamborghini, 12th on the grid. He's in front of Sam Ramsbottom, Doggo, in the Aston Martin for Karimba Bimba. 13th on the grid alongside Carlos Guzman in the Arcane Honda NSX. Will Bruner, Firelight Esports, 15th on the grid alongside Chris McNichol for Scrubs Go Racing, Brevins Reptiles. Peter Greaves, Homeschool Racer on Twitch, 17th on the grid. Is going to have to do some work to try and catch up to Kevin Blanchette to try and hold on to 2nd in Division 2. Luciano Yads from Madhouse Racing. He's 18th on the grid. Let me get my face out of the way. 19th on the grid, Dan Tazaro for Turn 1. Kind of out of place being a Division 1 runner in front of Brad Sievers from Firelight Esports in the McLaren. Shane Reeves for 949 in the 950 Porsche. Then we've got Steve K in the McLaren, number 11. I think he's the green team. He's 22nd on the grid. Paula Brady, the Donk for Hire, 23rd on the grid in the 48 Audi, and Patty McNichol in the Porsche for Scrubs Go Racing Chum Motorsport, 24th on the grid. Let's jump back. We got 3 more entries. We got... Oh, they won't actually show it to me, so I'll name them off. We got Tyler Kozlakis in the Tag Heuer Porsche. Pretty close in the Division 4 battle, along with Justin Rowley for RG in the 404. But the Division 4 leader, JQ, starting at the back. This is going to be a tough race for JQ, but he's got to play it smart, play it safe, play the strategy, try and come out with the best result he can convert. That is your field for round number 7 of the 949 GT Sprint Series. Again, thanks everybody so much for joining us. We've only got 2 more rounds of this before we go on a longer break. Hoping to make the last 2 rounds as exciting as possible for you. I think the start of this race is going to be a banger. Josh McKean has a real opportunity here to score some really good points at a race where he's in the right car for it. It's a wet race. He's running away from another car that's really well spec'd for this, both the Honda and the Lexus in P4, Luke Southall, the Division 1 leader. Joseph Kostovich, has got this Maka figured out in the wet around here. I'm very interested to see how this works out for him in the long run. Let's actually switch over real quick. I want to take a look at the weather conditions because we got an hour sprint race. We've got steady rain for the next 30 minutes, but then an increase of rain after 30 minutes. So it's going to be very important to try and maximize the safest race possible for these first few laps in these wet conditions, because it's only going to get more treacherous as the race hits the back half. It's very important here. 22 degrees ambient temperature, 27 degrees on track. Pretty sure everybody's on wet tires. It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. Oh, that's the wrong key. Sorry. Let's get the overall turn back on. Hey, Turner. Yeah, let's go indeed. Big shout out to Mr. Chris Turner and the New World Sim Racing family. Be sure and check them out. They got their Pint Series up and running. And here we go. We go green. Down into turn 1. It's going to be very important. Josh is on the inside. Zach got a good run on him, though. Oh, man, they're going to be side by side going up into Corey. Now, see, Josh is on the wetter side of the track right now, and I think that's going to give Zach the benefit because Zach's on the inside into Corey. Let's see if Zach backs out of it or not. Into turn 1 they go. Oh, man, Josh is just losing out in a big way. Outside, round the outside, Corey. Very tough, especially in the wet. And now we go into the cutting. This is the part where it's really, really scary. Now, we do have contact in the back of the field. I don't see yellow flags. Let's jump back and take a look. Does look like cars are still racing. Into Skyline for the first time. Thanks for stopping by, Justin. Pit window is open. I mean, the thing is that Zach actually had the drier half of the track. Like, if Josh would have moved into the dry line a little bit more, I think, yeah, you're right. I'll take that back. If he'd have moved into the dry line a little bit more and kind of tried to squeeze Zach, especially if Zach was going to give him that space, it could have been a real opportunity for him there. Really kind of missed out, I think. He's got Luke behind him now. So that is definitely, like, I don't know if Coasty just bailed out of this. He's just like, I'm going to let these guys go take each other out. It's going to be interesting to see. Waiting to see. Drivers are still out on track. I'm waiting to see how many people come across the line and book their first times. And the 420 Kevin Blanchett looks like he got into some contact, but is still going straight. Everybody seems to be still going straight. Yeah, they left the dry line in the middle. That's where the dry line is on track. Kevin Blanchett in front of Chemosith right now. Now, this is not his fight. So what Blanchett's going to want to do is he's going to want to try and hang on to the back of this guy right here in front of him. The Chum Motorsport Aston Martin entry, Mike Minning. They're going into the cutting right now. So Nick Gonzalez right now holding the traffic up for everybody from P5 back. The top 4 have run away. They're about 3.5 seconds up the road. And right now, Nick is just trying to hold off Pete as much as he can. I think it's going to be tough with the Bentley in comparison to the Aston Martin. I think the Aston Martin's the better pick here in wet conditions. But we're going to wait and see how that plays out. Going through Skyline right now. Conditions are very tricky. Let's go ahead and pull up that picture-in-picture cam for you all. Get a different angle while we watch these guys on track. Good fights on track, man. Good fights on track all around. Loving it so far. So Patterson, McKean, Southall, Kostovich. Kostovich already dropped back from Southall by 1.129 seconds. Kind of curious if there may be some strategy games that Joe might try and pull to see if he can maybe undercut the front three in some capacity. Let them fight, let them murder their pace, murder their tires, maybe try and extend, maybe try and do an overcut. I'm not sure really what strategy works here in the wet in particular. Oh man, we got some fighting here in the chase right now. That is, I believe, Patty McNichol duking it out with Tyler Kozlakis. And that is Sam Ramsbottom in the 14 in front of both of them. Now, for the folks that have never watched the 949 GT Sprint Series event, King Rhino, how's it going? There is a mandatory pit stop. You're going to notice the orange number 1. Right now, Luciano Yads is actually pitted and is technically good to the regs. I wonder if he's doing a strategic move to basically pit, get out of the traffic, and just try and run the race to the end. Now, it is going to get wetter in about 24 minutes. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out for him trying to run long. Same thing for Steve K. Steve K's diving into the pits. He was already 7.648 back from Rally, and he's going in the pits as well. I'm doing really good. Just watching some good racing right now. Just trying to hang with these good fights. Zach Patterson already moving up to some lap traffic. Oh no. I think Luciano's got an issue on track or something. He gets out of the way of the front runners. It's going to be treacherous with the blue flags. It's just a fact. But the key here is everybody play it safe, play it smart. Braking that much at the crest of Skyline, probably not the play, but I also don't know if he's got damage. Steve K's in the pits. Let's look at Steve K right now. Steve K's moving back out of his pit stall. Looks like he's good to the regs. Maybe the strategic early pit didn't work out the way that he had hoped for. How's it going, Brandon? How are you doing, sir? Got a gaggle of cars cresting the hill at Conrad. We got Jose, Chemo Sith, that is Claudio, and then Will Bruner. Will Bruner has made up some spaces between him and Chemo Sith right now. That is not what Chemo Sith wants to see, but Bruner's probably licking his chops, just waiting for the opportunity to strike. Dude, man, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you get better soon. Seriously. Let's ride on board with Josh McKean as he is trying to get away from the Division I leader, Luke Southall, right now. Looks like we're also on board with Kevin Blanchette in the Sky High Beaver Motorsports. Now tuned back into Chemo Sith. Alex Media, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it, man. There is some really hard racing right now going in this mid-pack battle right now. Chemo Sith, we got Claudio, and then Will Bruner, followed by, I believe that's Chris McNichol. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it. We got two more rounds. Well, we got this round and then the final round of the 949 GT Sprint Series next Thursday. It's going to be a race weekend format. Track is still a mystery. The drivers are going to get to pick from 3 options at the end of this race to determine where they're going to race for the final round, and it is the race weekend format. So we've got the, let me pull up the format information so I can read that off for the final race. The race weekend format is a special format. We only run it usually once a season. So with the race weekend format, it is a 30-minute race for, length race for race 1, and then a 60-minute race for race 2. With the 1 liter fuel required and tires being optional. So that'll be an interesting format. Luke Southall's starting to pull a bit of a gap McKean's pulling a gap on Southall now. Should get that right. Oh, we gotta tune in. I'm sorry, we gotta tune into this battle right now. Bruner, he's on the outside of Claudio going into the kink right here at the chase. This could end in tears. Oh, did you see the back end on the AMG squiggle a little bit? Now he's back on the dry line, so that should be okay. Chris McNichol, there's Peter Greaves moving around the outside. Traffic is really backed up. And now here we go. The Division 3 championship contenders on track side by side. Chemo Sith, Crazy Rabbits Racing, Will Bruner, Firelight Esports. This is going to be a heck of a race. We're on board with Will Bruner. He's in the lead of the Division 3 championship by 4 points. That's it. That's all that separates these two guys on track mathematically. Now, in terms of like square footage, it looks like he's about, I'd say about 100 meters, about 50 meters up the road. And they're going into quarry right now. Heading up Griffin's Bend now into Reed Park. It's so important to not strike the walls in this uphill section. Not only will it damage your car, but you will lose so much speed that the car behind you is going to, gain on you so quickly that it could cause a collision from behind. So it's very important. Cresting the hill at Skyline, you can see Chemo Sith's a little unsettled as the M4 crests the hill there. Switch it up. Let's go crisscross applesauce. Switch back over to Chemo Sith. He's going through Forest Elbow right now. Downhill through Conrad. And then behind him, so we got Chemo Sith, Bruner. I believe that's Claudio behind him. Or no, Bruner, then McNichol. And then we've got Voodoo, Peter Greaves. This is the battle in the top right corner of your screen between Homeschool and Dan Tazzaro. Luciano getting out of the way. Bruner backs out of it. Chris McNichol dives up the inside of Luciano. Oh, Bruner got a little bit of the grass on corner exit. That's going to catch him out. Real quick, folks, what we're going to do while we're watching this battle, because it's probably the hottest one we got going, switch over to picture-in-picture game frame and pop up some pit wall action and look at some data. So we've got Chemo Sith and Bruner right now. Let's go ahead and throw in McNichol for good measure, and we're going to use Chemo Sith, who's out in front, as the control point right now. Man, the margins are so small between these two. So small. Let's get this flipped over. Let's transition this over. Take a look at this data right now. Like, the margins are getting so small between these three right now. So Bruner's going to want to stay out in front of McNichol to try and take the fight to Chemo Sith. Meanwhile, McNichol is gaining on him and wanting to get around him to try and get closer to Guzman and Menning, get past those guys and get some good points. So we're going to wait and see how Chris does in the Scrubs Go Racing Reptiles Audi. He's running the Evo 2 model. A little bit different. Best personal laps are starting to clock in, man. We still got people that are finding pace out on track in these wet conditions. Bruner's losing some pace on Chemo Sith, and Chris McNichol is starting to gain on him. Not sure if Bruner's going to want to put up a fight or not. Meanwhile, Patterson still in the lead of this race. It's Patterson, McKean, Southall. There's about a second and a half between the top three right now. Kostovich dropped back. 3.1 between him. Hutchings. Weather is going to increase at the 30-minute mark, Chris. So the rain's going to start increasing. Already looks like the conditions on track have probably... it looks like rain throughout. It looks like rain throughout. Let me go ahead and switch over real quick, and let's take a look. So it is. It's going to increase in rain pretty much for the rest of the race, all the way through. So it's going to be really tricky. They've got another 10 minutes of the current conditions before the rain starts to increase. I was looking at Zach, driving on the wetter line going up Mountain Straight. I wonder if the track has formed a bit of a dry line with the current amount of rainfall, and his wets are starting to overheat a bit. Because it does look like he's dipping into the wet line a little bit to get a little bit of water to cool those tires. It's just going to be interesting to see how he gets on with the stint, especially because in 10 minutes we're going to get a little bit more rain on track. Looking for more fights on track. Let's jump back a little bit and take a look at some of the folks that are running a little bit further back in the field. Jose Guzman is pitting early. Just looking right now. Looks like Voodoo, who's behind Will Bruner and Chris McNichol. Chris McNichol up the inside into Skyline, man. That is a bold maneuver. Oh, man, Chris is like right there. He really wants to get around Will. Claudio, in the meantime, currently in front of Dan Tizarro in the turn 1 M4. Oh, man. Claudio goes wide on the exit of Forest Elbow. That's going to let Dan Tizarro around him. It's only a single plus, Turner. I'm not entirely sure if it's I'm not entirely sure if it's going to get to the point where it's like flooded or not, but there is definitely rain increase pretty much throughout, so it's going to be tricky. Let's ride on board with Mr. Homeschool Racer on Twitch right now as he tries to find his way around the Policia Lambo of Claudio Voodoo. .44 minutes left in round 7 of the 949 GT Sprint Series, Season 8 Dealer's Choice. We got a 1-hour sprint underway at Mount Panorama. I think Will finally gave way to Chris into Corey. Let's check in. Yeah, Chris gets around Bruner. Bruner's losing pace up the hill. I wonder if he struck the wall a little bit. He's on the inside at Griffin's. It's going to be so tricky through here. And the thing is that I can understand what Dan is feeling right now. Like, he is frustrated. He's like, I'm not even in the same division as this guy. I want him to get out of my way. But he is trying to catch Chemosith, who is pretty far up the road right now. Because his Division 3 championship hopes are based on whether or not he can stay in, if he can get in front of Chemosith or not. So it is down to him being able to not lose as much time as possible, and Dan, maybe the smarter play is to let Dan go. I can't tell you. It's just going to be interesting. And Will in the AMG, I'm not really certain about the stability of the AMG as a platform around Bathurst in the wet. Could be a tricky car. He does seem like he's pulling away from Bruner, or not Bruner. Bruner's pulling away from Tizarro on the straights. Tuning back in with the race leaders. Brad Sievers, Firelight Esports, blends out with the front runners. Southall on the inside into Corey. Sievers is going to let him go. So Voodoo, I can't tell if Voodoo and Homeschool came together or not. Homeschool's still out on track. What about Voodoo? Voodoo's just going into his pit stall right now. He gets impatient a little, Sandy. Yeah, that's Tez in a nutshell. For sure. Let's check in with a few of the runners that are kind of in, like, spaced out, but let's talk a little bit about where they're at kind of in their respective championships. This guy right here, Mike Menning, Scrubs Go Racing Chum Motorsport, trying to chase down Kevin Blanchette. He's in the lead. He's got a comfortable lead in Division 2 now. But the key here is that he's got to try and convert this finish as best he can to try and maximize his points finish to mathematically lock up Division 2. In the meantime, Kevin Blanchett, he's going to try and hold his position in front of not only Menning, but Peter Greaves, who's down in 14th, to try and see if he can leapfrog Homeschool and get into second in the Division 2 championship. So that's kind of the tail of the tape right now for Division 2. Mike Menning going to try and convert as much as he can. Doggo, man, I'm so sorry about that. F's in chat for Doggo. You gave it a shot, dude. Appreciate you. No error codes, no freeze. It just closed. Okay, that's kind of wild. Hopefully, like did Windows Update just decide that you didn't need the game anymore? Oh, game crashes. That's not good. Yeah, we've already lost some people. That's unfortunate. In the meantime, so P5, Pete Hutchings, 2.1 back from Joseph Kostovich. Zach Patterson, if he can convert this win, probably going to leapfrog Kostovich to get into that that fourth spot. But given the fact that Hutch is in front of Nick, there might be enough of a points difference where Zach might even upset everything even further. So Zach going to try and maximize this finish as much as he can. Meantime, Hutchings is going to try and close down on Joseph Kostovich as much as he can. Hutch is moving up. That's Brad Siebers in front of him. Brad just stays out of his way. Sad to hear that, Doggo. So Greaves, McNichol, Kozlakis in the pits with 39 minutes, 15 seconds left in the race. Patterson, McKean, Southall is your top three. There's 1.8 seconds between the top three. Oh, your AMD drivers died? That sucks, Patty. I'm sorry. You were actually doing really well in these conditions too during the race. Like, I'm kind of skeptical. Why did you struggle so much in qualifying in particular in comparison to free practice in the race? Because it looks like the weather conditions between free practice and the race were very similar, I guess, maybe? You twitched at Skyline and they ran into you. Oh, is that why you're in the pits right now? How much damage did you get, Chris? Hopefully it didn't end your race. Yeah, Patty was doing pretty good in race trim with that Porsche, it seemed, in comparison to those around him. Definitely felt like the car was more planned and more stable. Wow, that is huge. 65 seconds. Leaders right now are running, last lap was a 209. 209.937 for Patterson, 209.722 for McKean, 209.915 for Southall. And then it's 210s, 212s, 211s, and so on. Nick Gonzalez right now, currently third in the championship. Going to try and hang on to that position as much as possible, but it's very important that he start to maximize the position that he is, that he's ends this race with. He's got to get in front of Kostovich and Hutchings as best he can. Try and close up on the back of Patterson as much as possible. More back marker traffic in front. Blue flags are going to be a tricky thing around here. It's going to be critical to navigate them as much as you can. Voodoo on the outside. Hutch is going to take him in the kink. Voodoo slots into the draft. Josh McKean, in the meantime, 7/10 back from Zach Patterson in the Protocharge SimSport Aston Martin. Oh, rally into the wall. Holds on to the brakes. It's JQ going around him. He's going to try and see if he can turn it around at Skyline. Big slam for Rally. That's unfortunate, too. He was inside the top... I think he was inside the top 4 in Division 4. Let's take a look at the standings and find out. Yeah, Rally was 4th place, 9 points back from Kozlakis. He might lose some ground to Steve K in the points, depending on how the order finishes in Division 4. He was actually in lead of Division 4, too. JQ just passed him. So JQ going to extend a little bit on Rally. Going through the dipper now. Into Forest Elbow now. Gets out of the way. Oh, did your game crash too, Tez? Oh, that's unfortunate, man. I'm sorry. Through the S section now. Oh, no. Paula's losing it. But it looks like the Audi snuck around the bottom. Yeah, Paula's car is seriously messed up. That's going to be hard. That's going to be a hard one, indeed. Chris McNichol snuck around. Yeah, that was a pretty big hit. That was a pretty big knock for sure. Back with the race leaders. Zach Patterson. Okay, the camera's losing its marbles. Into Skyline. So we got Patterson, McKean, Southall, Kostovich, Hutchings are your top 5. Blanchette's going to the pits. Bruner's going to the pits. We're at almost that halfway point. Was a very clean pass. Very clean pass. Given the circumstances, absolutely. You know, tip of the hat to Josh McKean and Southall not letting Zach Patterson just run away with this in the Honda. Although, to be fair, I'm not entirely sure what the setup delta is between the Honda before 1.8.12 and now. At Bathurst in the wet. So Bruner's in the pits. Brady's in the pits. Chemo Sith in the meantime, 7th place. I mean, you could say that, but Zach is kind of... Although it is Zach, let's be real. Hey, Muff, how's it going? So, Chemo and Bruner, let's switch over to pit wall and take a look at that. That's a good question. Let's switch over and take a look. So let's do the last 10 laps. So Bruner has gone into the pits. Here, actually, I don't have enough data post pit stop for Bruner to really tell you. But before pit stop, Chemo's running a 2-minute 12.5 on the average. Bruner's running a 2:12.8 on the average. So, looks like there's about 0.3 in reserve for Bruner, or not Bruner, but Chemo Sith in relation to Bruner. Pete Hutchings going into Solomon Park right now. Currently 2.5 seconds back from Joseph Kostovich. There's Joseph Kostovich right now. They're getting ready to go into Skyline. Looks like they might have a blue flag in front of them. Yep, that's Jose Guzman in the RG Racing Honda. We're at about the halfway point. Good chunk of the field's already pitted for fresh rubber. Tony Shoulders, thank you so much for the follow. Thanks for joining us. You're watching the 949 GT Sprint Series. This is round 7. We're at Bathurst. We're hanging out. In the back half of the race right now, 1 hour sprint around Bathurst. Looks like Jose's blinker's stuck on. I'm not sure if there was a collision between Rally and the front runners going into the pits. Not sure what happened there. Oh man, we're gonna turn off the autopilot for a moment and just take a look, because we have the 3 front runners in the pits right now. Oh no, Southall's still out on track. Let's switch over to Southall real quick. So Southall's out on track, going into Quarry right now. I wonder how much time Zach lost in the pits. That issue. Let's see if we can find out. So if we pull up these 3 and cut Chemosith and Bruner out of the equation. I'm pulling up pit stop times right now. Take a look. So it looks like Patterson's out after 59.6 seconds. 1 minute, 0.1 for McKean. And where did Patterson cycle out? He should have cycled out in front. And it does. It looks like he cycled out in front. We don't have an update yet on what the delta is between them yet. So Paremba's in the pits. So Kostovich, Paremba, Menning, Blanchette, all in the pit. Well, all have pitted. So Hutch, so it's Southall, Hutch, Chemosith, 3 front runners that have not pitted yet. Waiting to see when Southall pulls the trigger. Southall has a moment with his teammate. That's Peter Greaves. Did they have contact? I don't see contact. Southall's in the pits. Let's pull up the track map. Switch over to Patterson. So you can see number 3, the triangle, going into the pits right now. Just crossed the line. I'm going to pull up the pit timer for Southall so that we can take a look. So Southall's pit timer. Let's close this down. Let's pop his open so we can take a look. Luke is kind of hit or miss when it comes to pit stop like procedure in terms of like just being right on the money. Justin Rowley getting a drive-through. So he's in his pit stall. Zach is entering the chase right now. Still waiting to see if Southall gets rolling. So Southall looks like he is not rolling yet. Patterson's going to pass him. Looks like McKean's going to pass him. He's rolling now. So Chemosith inherits the lead of the race, but he still has a mandatory pit stop. Excessive speeding in the pits, or is that a DQ? No. So you would get a DQ if you had a penalty already and then got nailed with the speeding in the pits. Normally it would be a stop go 30. Yeah, what Doggo said. Yeah, but if you have another automatically delivered penalty and then you get a penalty for a pit lane entrance infraction, that's an automatic DSQ. The way the game does it, like the automatically handed out penalties, if you get 2 of them, you're gone. That would have been for track limits, believe it or not. In the wet. I don't know how, but maybe a bug. I don't know. Let's take a look at Luke, figure out where he is on track. Just now going into McPhillamy Park. Looks like he's 2.4 seconds back from McKean, so Luke lost out kind of in a big way there. His pit stop was 1 minute 7. No, excuse me, 1 minute 0.7. So he lost about 6/10 on McKean, who lost 3/10 on Patterson in the way their pit stops rolled out. Could be the escape row multiple laps. Could be that. Cutting the chase. Could be that. So we got Chemosith, Patterson, McKean, Southall, Kostovich, Hutchings. Now that is bizarre. I've never seen that before, doggo, but if that is the case, if that sort of thing can happen, that's kind of scary. Sped on entry due to contact. That's unfortunate. Going to check in now. So Patterson, McKean, this is the fight to watch on track. Let's actually check in, though, with the Division 3 battle. That is pretty hot. Chemosith has yet to pit. Will Bruner, in the meantime, currently 10th in the race, kind of in a little bit of no man's land. He's got a gap on JQ. We don't have a computation yet on that. 6 seconds, 6.3. Yeah, Turner, that's usually how it works for me, too. Usually there's no hope of increased speed or anything like that. McKean's in the pits. What has happened? What has happened? I'm looking through the data. I see an accident between 77 and car 9, perhaps. Tyler Kozlakis, he's in the pits as well. That might have been terrible luck. Oh, F in chat, seriously. I'm gonna use this other PC as an opportunity, folks. I need to go find out what happened. So Patterson in the lead of this race. McKean is going to be losing some serious spots. That's unfortunate. Jump to R77. Goes into Forest Elbow. I don't see a problem yet. Need a replay co-host. You guys got the good setup over there at New World. You guys got a gaggle of folks in the broadcast booth. So exiting the chase, everything looks okay. It's fine. So there's Tyler. They're going through Reed Park. Well, actually, they're in Griffin's Bend. So Zach's behind him as they go into Reed Park. Let me pop that up real quick. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm confused by that. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, blue flags and all, but at the same time, like, why did Josh turn in on him? He was in the middle of the road. I'm confused by that. That's weird. Oh, it's just you and Tiago this weekend? So Patterson in the lead of this race. Let's jump in and see where's Chemosith at on track, because Chemosith is still has yet to pit. Shane pulls off to the side. So Chemosith goes around, going into Murray's corner right now. Chemosith in the Crazy Rabbits Racing entry. That is really unfortunate for Josh. Really unfortunate. I think Tyler's out too. So with that, that's going to put Southall into second place after the pit stop cycle. And he's got 5.9 seconds, 5.949. Well, I mean, I'd love to see their doggo, but at the same time, too, real life stuff comes first. Like, don't do anything that would, like, if you have to drive to the airport or if you're in risk of missing your flight or anything like that, don't risk anything in real life for a video game. Turner's like, sleep on the plane. Sleep when you're dead. I think Chemosith's just trying to stay out in front just a little bit, trying to get to Forest Elbow, and then he'll probably let Zach go. Oh, you're updating your driver's pad? You going to give that a shot? Good luck with it, man. Six-hour flight? That's not too bad. All right, so Chemosith lets Zach go. Nick's in the pits. That's unfortunate. JQ's in the pits. But I think that's actually for a mandatory pit stop. So JQ might be able to cycle out and hang on to second in Division 4, depending on how his pit stop goes. Southall currently 4.6 back from Chemosith. Field's starting to stretch out a little bit. Let's check in with Paula Brady, though. The Donk for Hire. She's behind Steve K. In front of Luciano Yads. Okay. Collision with Kozlakis at, whoa, what is Carlos doing? Did he have a moment on track or something? Yeah, Paula had an accident early on, but she's recovering and she's catching up to Steve K. They were on entry into McPhillamy Park. Like between Solomon and McPhillamy Park, the left-hander, like right when you dip down and take the left-hander and go to the wall on the right to then take the left at McPhillamy, that's when they connected. That sounds terrible, Tez. Like, certifiably bad. So, Peter Greaves currently 1 second behind Jose Guzman. Peter is getting closer to Blanchette here. Like, with this points matchup the way that it is right now, he might be able to stay in front of Blanchette if he can convert this. I'll need to go back and watch that replay again with Kozlakis and McKean. Like, I think, I can't tell if Kazakis had clearly gotten out of the line because Zach went around. The problem is that is a very short double left-hand sequence right before, and it's fast too. Like those sections of the track, like you are lifting and on the limit of grip through those sections. So I'm just wondering if Josh thought he was clear on the left, and it turns out he wasn't. Oh, Chemo sits in the pits. So let's switch over to Bruner. Where's Bruner at? Bruner's right here. Pop up the track map. We're on the helicam, so we can take a look and see. So 727's in the pits right now, and Will Bruner has exited Forest Elbow, now down towards Conrad, straight towards the chase. So Chemo's still parked as Bruner enters in. Chemosith gets a disqualification? What happened there? What just happened? Dude. That is super unfortunate. Speeding in the pits? Did he just like lock up on entry? Like what happened? Did he get hit? So Bruner's going to take the lead of Division 2 in 8th place. Big drama here. Yes, that does suck. F's in chat for Chemo. For sure. For sure. So that definitely spoils the fight for Bathurst, but with the math the way that it currently works out right now, that's going to be depending on how many cars finish. Actually, I can't remember. I think with the DSQ, I don't think you get any points. It might mathematically. I'm not sure. If so, that's super unfortunate for Chemo. The difference there would be, would he maintain enough points with Cole Grace being a scratch this week? He would maintain enough points, but Paula would gain. Beachley's out. Rogers is out. Yeah, DSQ is a DNF. Yeah, you're right. Let's check in. So, Homeschool and Voodoo are duking it out. Well, the problem is that, like, even if we cancel the DNF, he's already down laps, right? We can't revert the clock. And even then, if it's like if the game genuinely registered like speeding in the pits, like we don't normally revert those decisions. So. Just because the way the game logic works, I mean, sometimes it's unfair, but most of the time it's unfair for everybody equally. Like, the rules the game applies sometimes are bullshit, but they're usually bullshit in the same way for everybody should the conditions appear. It's just the way that it works, unfortunately. Claudio and Homeschool are really duking it out. And I feel for Chemo, man. Like, that's gutting. Like, he was running a really good race. I mean, I don't know what we can investigate, Patty. Like, we can't break open the logic of the game and determine whether or not, like, it made a mistake. right? Hutch is currently 5.1 back from Coasty. Let's jump into McNichol, who's doing a hell of a recovery drive here. Up to 15th. He's 6.39 back from Guzman, but he's definitely covered some ground already after checking into the pits for a minute and 5 to take some repairs. I mean, the thing that we could say, if he didn't violate it, that is, yes, I understand that, Patty. It's just, we can look at his inputs, but we can't know, like what the game considered the infractionable condition was, right? Like, we can see what speed he was when he went into the pits, but we don't know what speed it is that the game throws a DSQ under those circumstances, right? Do you know that amount? No, they're thinking it's excessive speeding. Either way, Patty, Chemo is more than welcome to issue a protest. It's very rare, if at all, that we revert in-game penalties just because it affects people the same way usually. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm not a steward. That's the first thing I'll say. Get through the field. So Voodoo did get around Peter. Who's Paula trying to run from? Looks like she's running from Carlos. Oh, if he was under, obviously, yeah. If he was under 50K, and that was something that we could really determine, that would be, yeah, limiter bug could be the thing. Well, I mean, it's not a bug, Chris. There's actually some GT3 cars that shut the limiter off in second gear, and there are some that don't. Like that's a function. If I remember correctly, that's a function of the car. There are some cars that do it and some cars that don't. Like the Lexus shuts it off. Bentley shuts it off. I'm trying to think of what other ones. Porsche Cup car shuts it off. Man, we got a gaggle of cars here. Let's jump on board from Kevin Blanchett's perspective. Look at the spray. I don't know why it auto-modded you for saying it. Will it shut it off if you upshift a second? Yeah, GT3 will do it. Oh, all GT3 will? The TCX doesn't. Yeah, that's what it is, Patty. Thanks. Shut it was auto-modded? Wow, that's hilarious. 6 minutes, 54 seconds. Zach Patterson in the lead of this race. Southall, Kostovich, Hutchings, Menning are your top 5. Automod defeated. That's right. That's right. Oh, yeah. Hitting the button in second, it ain't going to do it. So Kevin's going to make his way around. Looks pretty clinical. Paremba's in the pits from 16th. Did Paremba get annihilated there? I'm a sub. I should be able to say what I want automatically. I don't think that's how it works, Chris. So Steve K and Paula Brady are going at it. From the Dash Pro. Well, I thought they were. Oh, no, it's Paula Brady and Chris McNichol. That's the one I want. Stupid roll. Indeed. Indeed. Got Jose Guzman in the RG Racing Honda. Top right corner of your screen. .714 between Paula Brady and Chris McNichol. Creole Boy, thank you so much for the follow. Creole Boy, I'm assuming Louisiana, Mississippi territory. If so, welcome. I'm a native Arkansan. How do you do? Not Creole, but Mississippi River Delta, so. You anticipate Chris getting let through? Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think what Southall's doing is I'm not really sure what Discord is doing to me right now. It's just like posting stuff. Weird. So Paula's losing ground to Chris. Let's look through the data. Does look like Peter Greaves and Voodoo are still going at it. So we'll check in on that. And Zach, looks like the front runners are starting to catch up. Patterson has pulled a 6.1 on Southall in terms of gap. Paremba's still in the pits. That might be race done for him. So the field is stretched out with the current attrition levels the way they are. It's tough. It's a tough race. At this rate, we might finish with 21 people, maybe 20, if we're lucky. Voodoo currently 1.5 seconds back from Jose. And he is catching Jose, too. Jose's about to have a fight on his hands. Just watching to see if change the second too early, leaving the pits. That is super unfortunate, man. Muff, send my regards to Chemo. Seriously, that's unfortunate. Tell him chin up, man. That's gutting, but he drove a really good race up until that point. Qualified completely out of position. Like, there are definitely some things that he should take away as positives, even though it wasn't the result that he wanted for both this race probably and the championship. So we do have the final round of the 949 GT Sprint Series is next week. And then we're going on an extended break at the end of Season 8. But we will have probably some more streams going on over the coming weeks. Let's check in with the race leaders. Division 1 leader right now, Luke Southall. Oh, Muff, I get that. I just want you to let him know that he was seriously driving a really good race there. Like, seriously. Like, been super impressed with Chemo this season. Definitely seen an evolution from last season to this season. And just in the scope of this season, seen a massive evolution of his racecraft. So, hats off to him. JQ is in the wall. Hopefully he doesn't back out into anybody. Let's go check in and make sure. JQ was in the lead of Division 4. And he is trying to get the car going back straight. He's in the middle of the track. What's going to happen? Hutchings gets around him. Okay. Yellow on the last lap. I know, man. That was wild. That was wild. Speaking of last laps, into the chase right now. This man right here waiting until the last race of the season, or not the last race, next to the last race of the season to finally score a win. Zach Patterson for Protocharge Sim Sport in the Honda. Also races for Yaz Motorsport in SRO GT World Challenge America. And pit wall strategist for the number 99 Honda in the Michelin Pilot Series in real life. Congrats to Zach. Big win, man. Big win. Congratulations. Luke throws it into a spin. Luke's going to take second place. That's going to probably seal it mathematically for him. Joseph Kosovich is going to come across the line for a podium spot in the 949 Sim Racing McLaren. Pete Hutchings, the 44, comes across the line in fourth. Mike Minning looks like he's slotted for fifth place. Waiting to see him come across the line. Kevin Blanchett coming across the line. Looks like he's going to finish sixth. Will Bruner is going to take the top Division 3 spot in seventh. That's probably going to be mathematical for him if he can get it across the checkers. So, Bruner, Guzman, Voodoo. So, Greaves is going to finish in 10th. Guzman, 11th. McNichol, 12th on a recovery drive. Good recovery drive for Bones. Luciano Yads in 13th for Madhouse. Looks like Steve K is 14th. Paula Brady was 15th. Shane Reeves is 16th. Justin Rowley, Brad Severs, JQ. Bruner's going to come across the line in 6th for Firelight Esports. That is a good result for Will and the Firelight Esports entry. He's going to be very happy with that result. That, like I said, that could mathematically seal it for him in Division 2. That's a pretty big deal. Or not Division 2, Division 3. Jose Guzman headed into Murray's Corner for the last time. There's Claudio Voodoo. Hold it, Guzman. Yeah. Taking the Division 4 victory, Jose Guzman. Let's see if we can get him into chat. Let's have a talk. See if I can get Patterson. See if I can get Zach Patterson with the win. That's a big result for Zach. I know he's going to be happy with that one. Southall second. It's going to be a mathematical lock, I think, for him in Division 1. Joseph Kostovich is going to get a good haul of points, but Zach Patterson got the biggest haul of points. He might actually leave Kostovich to jump into fourth, although I'm wondering how the math is going to work out between him and Nick Gonzalez. I actually don't see Gonzo in the running anywhere. So that might actually put Gonzo in at a risk for holding on to that third spot. Division 2 runners, Mike Manning. Let's see if we can get. It'd be cool to talk to people. We'll see if we can get a few of them into the interview booth. It would be nice. Shall see. He'll talk to me. Thank you, Turner. Appreciate you, man. You're too good to me. So let's talk more about the division winners while we're waiting. So Zach Patterson with the Division 1 victory. Mike Menning taking the Division 2 victory. Did end up finishing in front of Kevin Blanchett. Kevin Blanchett's going to get a good haul of points. Probably going to leapfrog Greaves going into the last round. Let's see here. Zabsy? Well, hello, sir. Let me actually unmute you real quick, and let's do that again. Hello, Zach.
Howdy, howdy. Hello, hello.
Round 7, Bathurst, the new Honda in the wet.
Yes.
That had to feel special.
Yes.
Tell us how the race was. Tell us what you were thinking.
I was thinking I wanted to hold on. It was, okay, so I haven't been Bathurst in the rain probably since 1.6, and the last time I did it was in a Porsche. So it's been a long time. So I didn't know, I started practice doing like 214s today.
Yeah.
So I had no idea what to expect. Luckily, I think what really helped me was actually when it started a little bit drier.
Yeah.
Because like it was more natural progression for me versus like just being thrown straight into like a really heavy rain, which is what it was at the end. And I don't know if you saw us sliding all over, but
well, what I would like to learn a little bit about, walk us through that entry into Corey at the end of Mountain Straight. You on the inside, Josh on the outside. Did you take the drier side? Did you actually know going into that? Like on the formation lap, were you able to tell that you were actually on the drier part of the track going up into Mountain Straight, or based on like your experience? Because you were on the drier half, Josh was on the wetter half, but the outside line, what were you thinking?
I think it was more, I knew that, Aston is kind of hard to get off the line. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to try something, it's going to be off the line. I just had a really good launch off the race start, and then just held it in the higher gear and just had enough rotation in the higher gear, because I heard it audibly where Josh went down a gear to first, and then on the exit kind of choked himself a little bit, just drag race down to the next corner. And then that right-hander, like, you just can't go 2x2. People try it. Every round, every race, every league, people will try outside there.
It does. Works, but it does seem to be a common occurrence, especially one that you talk about on your streams and stuff. About that's not the line. don't go too wide through Corey. It just doesn't work. Man, like I said, a wet race at Bathurst, wet setup in the new Honda, that had to feel Very, very special. Yeah, man. How do you feel getting a race win in season 8? That's got to be special as well.
I feel kind of bad because I didn't realize it was Luke's perfect season until they said it at the end.
Yes, it was. Yep, it was. But at the same time, I mean, I think Luke is now a mathematical lock for Division 1 with Josh. What happened? What happened?
Sure.
What happened there? Because it looked like you got around Tyler right before the entry into McPhillamy Park. But that's a very tricky place to execute the pass. And it looked like Josh, Josh had to have seen him on his radar because they were side by side. I don't know what happened.
I think it was a case of, I was perfectly happy, and I think I could call it out. I can't remember. I called out okay, we're gonna have traffic or something like that this lap.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just a case of the lap cars trying to facilitate the line to
Yeah.
let us through.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was comfortable waiting, and so it's just a miscommunication. And
Okay.
I don't even think Josh tried to be optimistic. He just kind of followed me, and then
Yeah.
the door just closed.
Yeah. I mean, it's just unfortunate, but still, man, if you talk to Josh, tell him, seriously, congratulations on the season that he's run so far. I know that isn't the result that he wanted, but still, from a mathematical perspective and from evolution of his racecraft and everything like that, he's really outperformed a lot since starting in the 949 GT Sprint Series. I think he started as a bronze driver, if I remember correctly. So if anybody out there doesn't believe that you can start at the bottom and work your way to the top, Josh McKean is a perfect example of yes, you can. But back to your win, man. Congratulations. That's a big result for you, and you got to be happy with that. Protocharge Boys has got to be happy with that. You looking forward to the series finale?
Yeah, it's the race weekend format, right?
Yep. It's going to be a good one.
Enjoy that.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to let you go because I know you got more people on your stream to talk to. Congratulations again, and we'll see you in the final round.
All right, thanks all.
Yeah. Mr. Mike Minning, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Talk about that race, man. That qualifying had to scare the crap out of you. I'm looking at you drifting through Hell Corner right now, and Kevin getting around you going up Mountain Straight. The qualifying, the race, tell me about it. You had to have been sweating bullets.
Yeah, I haven't finished. This was my first time finishing a race at Bathurst, nonetheless in the wet, so that's pretty fun. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, I don't know how to drive here very well, so the car just kind of goes sideways when it wants to, and I do not have enough confidence going down the hill. It's a lot for me.
Indeed. But so with the setup that you got before the race, did it feel did it feel solid? Did it feel planted? I mean, I'm seeing some moments on track where it looks kind of sketchy for you, but at the same time, it does seem like you still had pace in the car.
Yeah, I mean, it felt all right. It felt really disconnected from the track, but I think those moments were more of me just the lack of experience at this track. The setup felt all right, and when I could put a lap together when I was being consistent, it was all right. But I mean, it definitely did have its moments of just random understeer and oversteer, but it was all right in the end. It wasn't too much to handle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so another race win in Division 2. I think that's a mathematical lock for you now in the championship. Final round coming up. Another season with 949 winding down. How have you felt about this season so far? Like tell me what you're thinking.
I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, at the start of the season, I was still, probably, I was going for lower finishes, obviously, and I've put in more time, as time has went on, and I've definitely gotten faster, and I can kind of see that, which is kind of cool. And I mean, I've really had fun through all these races. I haven't had any bad races pretty much this entire season. So I've had a lot of fun this entire season. It's been a lot of fun for me.
Good deal, man. Well, it looks like the stars have aligned for you for yet another round of the 949 GT Sprint Series. Congratulations with the Division 2 win, and looking forward to seeing you at the last round, man. You have a good weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's go with Mr.
Fuck up really badly.
Well, you were talking to somebody else, but surprise, you're in an interview now. How's it going, Will?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad, man. So Division 3 win. Inherited it after Chemosith had the disqualification. I mean, it worked out in your favor, but man, tell me what you were thinking, man. Were you sweating that race?
Yeah, I was sweating pretty good. I don't know if you caught on early. We were in a big train at one point.
Yep. Oh no, we watched it for quite a while.
And I kept getting myself to spots where I theoretically could have done something, but something else was there that was like, nope, survive another lap, and then I solo spun coming down into Forest Elbow. It was getting dry, and I was, I'm clicking down on the TC, I'm clicking down on the ABS, and I didn't think about how far back you run brake bias for
The
wet
web?
weather conditions. Crested the hill, rear's locked. I got it partially saved, but then I dug into the brakes and it went fully around. Smashed it up, had a extra 15 seconds worth or 20 seconds worth of repair on the stop. So I was looking at this going, well, nothing I can do.
Yeah.
And then come around however long later it was and see him DSQ.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but at the same time, too, you benefited for it, and I think with the way the points are going to work out, you might be a mathematical lock now going into the last round. Getting a race win round 7, Bathurst, you've got to be really happy with that. And for the Firelight Esports crew, both of you ran today, so I think you're going to be catching up. I think it is to, I believe it's Adept that you guys are locked into it with the team championship, but regardless of that, getting a win at Bathurst in the wet in the AMG this late in the season, points this close in Division 3, you got to be happy with that. Tell me what you're thinking.
I'm really excited. Feels good to get it done. I would have preferred to get it done on track, but happy nonetheless. Certainly was fun too. I think. I don't know how obvious it was from broadcast, but it certainly felt like I went for low downforce where most people went for high.
Oh, we could tell you were pulling gaps, especially on the M4s in particular. But the thing is that it did seem like there were a couple places in particular where it looked like the back end was a little bit sketch on corner entry, but you kept it nailed down and you brought it home, so you got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I definitely tend toward a slightly looser setup, even in the wet. Like, I prefer the idea of it's gonna turn in for me, and if I need to ride the slide a little bit, riding the slide a little bit gets me around the corner, understeer gets me in the wall. So,
yeah. Still,
one's a little easier, but yeah.
Yeah, dude, you got to be, like I said, it worked out in your favor. And at the same time, too, you wouldn't have been able to take the championship on Mathematical Lock if you had been putting the results in all season. So you've got to be super happy with your performance. You got one more round left in the 949 GT Sprint Series before Season 8's close. Any thoughts on the season?
It's been... I'm just proud of my consistency. I haven't put it realistically anywhere near pole. Outside of one case, I think I've been over a second off every single Division 3 pole setter this season, but I also have only missed the podium twice. Once was that big pile up at Monza, and once was a 4th place at Paul Ricard. So really, I'm just proud of the fact that I'm bringing it home consistently on the podium, even when I don't necessarily have the pace. So
Good deal, man. I'm glad it worked out for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the last round. And again, congratulations on a race win at Bathurst in the wet, dude. Good job.
thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, man. You have a good weekend.
You too. See ya.
Hey, Jose. Surprise.
Hey. Oh, hello.
Now, you are super quiet. Give me a couple of moments to try and boost you a little bit on the volume.
Yeah.
And let's try this one more time. Say hi to everybody on stream. Division 4
Hey,
win.
everybody. Wait, I clinched the division?
No, a Division 4 win in this race. I'm not
Oh,
sure if you
this race,
convinced.
yeah.
I'm not sure if
No,
you can
I-
clinched it mathematically or not. It's really close between you and JQ, and JQ did
was
finish the
close,
race. So I'm kind of curious because it was a 7-point delta between you two. Now you did get a first place finish in Division 4, whereas JQ I think finished. Let's see if I can find it. Looks like JQ came across in
It was like
2
18th, I
spots.
think?
Well, it says on the
I don't know
delta.
what division. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the results right now. Actually, you know what? I'm watching the replay right now. I can just punch this handy dandy results button and find out. So it looks like, if I'm looking at Division 3 or Division 4, it looks like JQ finished 2, 3, 4, 5th in division. So that's going to be points. You will take the lead mathematically, but it's still close enough going into the last race where it's going to be a spicy battle for you
This
two.
is probably the best race I've ever had. I could have finished another 2 spots higher, but I killed myself in lap 9. So I had to do a lovely recovery drive. But I got myself back into the top 10, so I'm happy about it.
Indeed, man. You've got to be happy with that result. Bathurst in the wet in the Honda. So the Honda historically has been really strong around Bathurst, and in the wet, it's not necessarily a bad car either. But post 1.8.12, talk about how that car behaved on track with the new Honda format.
So I think I like it better with the new format compared to the old format. The old format was very snappy. This is a little more controlled. You still get a lot of turn in, like you with the old 1.7 or whatever the post one was. You had to have a lot of rake and it had to be really snappy for you to get any turn in. And now it feels much better with the lower rake, so it's a lot more controllable. So when it does snap over, it's a little more. It's easier to handle and catch it compared to what it was before. So I like it better. The adjustments are really weird though, because all my setups are all over the place. So I got lucky. Matt Paremba, I think it is how you say his last name.
Mm-hmm.
He reached out. He goes, "Hey, I set this up. It feels really safe. You know, see how you like it." And I was running like in like these conditions. I was running maybe like 216, 217, and then he gave me the setup, and I was improving 2-3 seconds a day, and I finally got down to like a 213. I even hit like a 212 in like these conditions in practice. I couldn't capitalize on it in qualifying, but I still got for the Division 3-4 split. I still got P2.
Yeah, you did. You qualified out of place in relation to where you like normally land in the main order. Talk about how that must have felt.
I was like, so I'm like, all right, you know, usually I'll qualify okay, and then I'll just see my name drop down, and then I'm like, all right, everybody set a lap. I'm like, why am I still P10? I'm like, what's going on?
Yep. But hey, man, you got the setup. You made it work. Having the setup's one thing. Making it work in the track, especially in mixed conditions like this, it comes down to you putting together the right things at the right time. So congratulations for that. You got to be happy with that result. This also is your first Division 4 win in 949, is it not?
Yeah, out of the 2 seasons I've done, this is my first win. I've gotten close before.
Yeah, fantastic, man. You've got to be very happy with that result. Tell me what you're thinking.
I'm like so hyped right now because I didn't even think I would ever get close to it. I've always fought like I've gotten close to like P3, P2 maybe. I always end up psyching myself out in the final laps and ruining it, but I held it together this time. I gotta thank Chemo and Blanchette because they helped me practice like 3 times this week on this track alone, and they helped me improve so much.
Fantastic.
I know Kevin and Chemo, you know, they wanted to practice chasing a slower driver, and you know, I tried my hardest to be good help to them, which ended up helping me be more consistent on the mountainside, and even get close to Sector 2 deltas between them. Obviously, I can't keep up with Kevin, but I got pretty close in pace to compared to what I was, and I'm super happy with everything.
Good deal, man. So you got one more race going into the final round. My ACC game just crashed over on the other window. Fantastic. The final round race weekend format, so be sure and read the format notes on that. You got a battle going into the last race with JQ. Tell me what you're thinking about that.
I think overall I've had decent pace at times. I think I've even had better pace than him, but I just can't capitalize on it. And I'm hoping I feel a lot better with the NSX after. I think I could have done better at last week, but with the update, it totally killed me. My setup was all over the place, and I had to go with something a little safer, and it didn't really end up working out for me at the end. So I think I lost it there. But I think now that I got the car a little more stable and I'm used to it more now, I think I have a really good shot at holding on to the D4 win.
Fantastic, man. Well, good luck to you. Make it a nice, exciting battle for us for the last round of the 949 GT Sprint Series, man. Congratulations again on the D4 win, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you on track in the last round, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll qualify myself again.
Good luck, man. Have a good weekend, all right?
Thank you. You too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for us. Oh, nice. It's just going to show the wrong camera. That's dope. Hi. Look at that. It's like, wait a minute. Empty chair? Full chair. Anyway. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We are going to get you guys ready to go over to Trackalicious. They're getting ready for another round of the GT4 Winter Championship. Voodoo Man, thanks again for participating, dude. Hope to see you back for the last round. If it's not too late, I know the time change is about to hit. If it is, thanks for racing last 2 rounds. It's been really awesome. Let's take a peek at the state of affairs on Twitch. Does look like Trackalicious is going live, so what we're going to do is we're going to get you guys ready to go on over in that direction. You took the day off tomorrow? Fantastic, man. I know you might not be able to do it again next week, but thank you for hanging out. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Really appreciate it. Appreciate all of you for joining us for round 7, man. Thrillo, man, no problem, dude. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you all enjoyed the show. We've got the series finale coming next week before we take the break. Thanks again to everybody who participated in the race. I know that was a slog and a tough one. Big shout out to the people who participated on track. Really make running these gigs over here at 949 really fun to watch, really fun to stream. Yeah. Thanks again to everybody behind the scenes. Matt Paremba, Matt Bergen, Chris PK, Joseph Kostovich, Robert Louis Beltan. Yeah, all the folks at 949, Ed Kerstetter, Shane Rees. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Really can't thank you guys enough for what you do. Hope to see you all again next week for the finale. Race weekend format is going to be awesome. Yes, Crispy K, the crispiest, not original recipe K. Crispy K. That's the way you go. Anyway, Trackalicious, the GT4 Winter Championship is still underway. We're going to get you guys set up to head over in that direction. Be sure and say hello from 949. It's been awesome. Round 7's in the books. Round 8 next week. Hope to see you all there. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy, leave space for one another. We'll see you next week.